Everybody, welcome back. So this is another episode of Deven and the Docs, but there's only one Doc here, but there's only one Deven and one Brandy, so it works out. Brandy Rashidian, my wife, Deven Brady, our trainer and bodybuilder. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, and this is one of those episodes where we're actually going to talk about us, because if you've been following, you've been watching, this is week 3 of Brandy and I training. Do you call it training or torture?
Training, yes.
Working, it's work, yes, working with Deven. So yesterday was another chest day, and I'm actually super sore up through here. And so the question is, and I know we kind of chatted about this, but the question I would have is it your goal to always be sore after a workout?
Yes. So it depends. It depends, like many other things, depending on your individual goals. So what's unique about this program that you guys have decided to follow is that it's all about hypertrophy, which happens to be my passion and my specialty. And what that means is we need to engage the muscle fibers in a way that promotes exhaustion. So it's going to be a deep burn. And yes, the soreness to me is effectively validation of effective work. So the common question is, do I always need to be sore to have made progress? And the answer is no. But in order to make the type of progress that we're trying to make, the fact that you're working with me and I'm coaching you through each, it's my job, it's my responsibility to ensure that you guys get the most effective training possible. And as long as we're doing that appropriately, you guys are going to reap the benefits on the back end by being exceptionally sore. What that is basically just your body's way of telling you that the muscle is substantially fatigued, which is a byproduct of the type of training that we're engaged in.
Very cool. Yeah, and and don't get me wrong, it's not awful. Like you can just tell that you worked out. They're just you press, it's a little tender, but we literally spent an hour just pushing and pushing and all different angles and so on, and squeezing, crushing. So I was kind of going, because we commit for the long term, right? We don't think that this is supposed to be like I'm going to go for a few months and it's going to be over. We're like, well, no, we're going to stick with it and really see what happens. I firmly believe anything in life requires a 6 to 12 month minimum commitment to start to see big improvements. Not like we're already seeing small changes. I don't know, some of that is hallucination, some of it is like you see what you want to see, but it's been 3 weeks, that's it. I think it's 6 months to a year, so just let's say 12 months commitment. And then that's to start seeing changes, but you want to maintain that and you want to even grow that. So we're thinking long term, right? So then I'm thinking, all right, so that means for the next 10 years I'm going to be sore every day for the rest of my life.
I don't think I thought that through. See, this is what happens when I let him sign me up for things.
That's right. And we laugh, and it is a good joke, but I absolutely love and appreciate Dr. Amir's perspective, because he understands one of the most vital components of any kind of body transformation, certainly one that we're trying to turn into a lifestyle change and make more permanent as we continue to build positive momentum. And that is that it is, of course, a marathon, not a sprint, right? We're dealing with the human body. It's a very smart machine. It's going to try to adapt. It's going to try to head us off at the pass. It's going to start to slow our progress. So for those of you following their progress at home, it's going to be probably a few more weeks that they're continuing to experience intense soreness. But just like anything else, similar to your adjustments for your guys' clients, is that it's always most severe at first, and then before long your body is going to start to adjust to the adjustments, and any soreness that comes along with that will become less and less severe over time. Muscle training is the same way. So one of the benefits of you guys enlisting the help of a health professional is that I can look at you from an unbiased third party and tweak things for you, so I can make sure that you're continuing to get appropriately challenged. You don't fall into comforts. You don't fall into just coming in and going through the motions like so many of us do as we get involved in our own personal health plans, and continue to try to keep you guys at the forefront of making progress all the time.
And I can see how easy it would be from previous trainings, and even now you come in, you're a little bit tired, you're at the middle point of your 6-day stretch, 6 days, and you don't see Deven at first, right? Because it's not your day to work out with him, and you go in and you're doing legs, and it's a big day,
Mhm.
and no one's there. The concierge service isn't there to take your plates on and off, which is fantastic. By the way, that's worth half the money right there. And you go to, you do your warm up and everything is good, and then you go to lay down on the leg press, and then you see Deven, and you realize that first set didn't count because you didn't start at your max weight from the last time. So I mean, I've really enjoyed, one of the things I enjoyed most is that it is really challenging, is that even on the days that I'm working out by myself and I don't see you, you still, the things that we're building on, you know, I don't want to get into one of our workouts with you next time and not see that progression. So that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very good. So I guess that's one of the benefits of, again, working with a health professional. So that's one of my jobs, is to make sure I'm continuing to monitor you guys as you go forward. And I understand that there are going to be differences. It's going to be very difficult to mimic that exact environment. It's not impossible, because there's certain ways and techniques that, again, I can employ to help get you past when your body is saying, I cannot do anymore, and you physically can't. There are ways that I can kind of assist you through that process. And that's what's going to be essential to ideal training. And again, I fully understand that you can't always get to that same place when you're on your own, but hopefully some of the principles and educational foundations that we create together when we do work together will continue to persist through your individual routines as well.
Yeah, and you know, there are different categories of muscle stress, right? You've got the load that you actually put on it, which is that physical stress that's actually stretching the muscles and so on, and then how we do those drop sets, that's called more of a metabolic stress, right? Where you're actually pumping so much blood and lactic acid into that muscle that it has to get engorged. And on the last video, we kind of talked about how new blood vessels are actually forming and muscle fibers are enlarging, but new muscle fibers may be forming as well, and then they're tearing and repairing and all of that. So yeah, and there's multiple. What other stressors would you say there are for muscles? You got the metabolic stress. And you can always, you know, obviously go up in weight and try to lift more weight. Even if your reps drop, that's a change.
So I would consider that mechanical stress. So that's effectively the load, it's the exercise, it's the plane that you're working in. All of these things are really important. And I think one last highlight to touch on is the fact that something that I think is unique to me, myself, how I train individuals, how I teach individuals to train most effectively, is you guys can certainly preach to this point because you've heard me enough during our sessions, is that I make an essential point to help you as the member understand the importance of all three unique phases of every single repetition. Okay, so there's three phases. You have what's called the concentric, which is the positive. So using the chest press as an example, that's moving the weight down from a fully stretched position to a shortened position of the pectoral. So this is the positive. So the muscle is shortening and contracting. The isometric is when the weight remains stagnant. There is no movement. There's no shortening, nor is there no lengthening of the muscle tissue. So you're at rest, but you're not resting. This is an active contraction. And last but not least, some say most importantly, is the negative, or the eccentric, where we're decelerating the load and bringing it from the top down to the bottom, or the resting position. So what's unique and critical about this formulation is that all three of those muscle fibers, the muscle fibers involved in all three unique phases that I just described, are different fibers. So what that means is, if you pay mind and respect to all three phases of each repetition, as I make sure that you do as part of us working together, you're going to ensure that each and every one of those fibers in any particular muscle group is getting activated and exhausted. And that is yet another reason why the soreness the day after and the days that precede can be so comprehensive, if you will.
Yeah.
So can we just clarify that contraction at the top is what we very kindly refer to as the big squeeze?
That's correct.
So just in case you hear that,
yes,
that is the big squeeze.
Yes, it is.
And
we're making t-shirts.
That's
we are,
big squeeze.
for sure. So, and what's fascinating is that the first day we worked out, I couldn't, and I think chest was our first day, right?
Yes, it was.
So I couldn't even feel that big squeeze.
Right.
I couldn't figure out
Mm-hmm.
where that squeeze was supposed to be focused, which was, I'm like, I felt like I was maybe squeezing my shoulders
Right.
or, but as we worked, which I find really interesting, being able to focus that big squeeze, I can actually feel, so I can actually tell when we're, you know, pushing and doing chest, like
That's right.
at the top part of that, I'm like, I can squeeze, and I'm like, oh, I can actually see it a little bit.
And this is not the
which
first
kinda
time
cool.
she's lifted weights.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, she's been weight training for years,
Yeah.
you know, but to really focus and create that. So that's why we think you should have a trainer. That's why we think you should come. We'll get t-shirts, big squeeze, and it'll be like a dozen of us in the gym at One Life Fitness South right here on Buckystown Pike.
That's
We'll all
right.
have big squeeze t-shirts, and
Got it.
Devin will be telling us squeeze, and we'll be doing it, and we'll all be crying like, you
That's
know,
it.
in pain. So anyways, join us over there. You get a 7-day pass. Bless you. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Take care.